Hello, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show. I'm so excited to have you back with us this week and also to be joined by my dear friend and member of the CEO Collective, Alexa Bigwarfe. Welcome, Alexa.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's always a pleasure to spend time with you. And I really feel excited about this particular conversation because I think, based on the work that you're doing, I feel like there's a lot of people that are going to be inspired by what you're creating and really just want to dive right into the conversation. So I know that you've got a lot of plates that you're managing right now, including kids at home and all these different things. But really, the big thing that you're creating is a really beautiful platform for those that want to write a book and become an author in 2021, right? So
Yes, yes.
I would love for you to maybe share with us how you got started into the publishing business, kind of what your motivation was, what inspires you about your authors, and then eventually we'll want you to share kind of what it is that you're bringing into the world. So if you want to dive right into that, that would be lovely.
Sure. Well, actually, it's not a happy beginning to my story. My reason to decide to start writing was because we lost an infant daughter, and I was searching for an outlet to share everything. I mean, I wanted to. I started by blogging first. Actually, I didn't go right out saying, "Oh, I'm going to write a book." A book was nowhere even on my mind when I started, but I had so many emotions around everything that had happened. I was angry. I was sad, obviously. She was a twin, so we had her twin sister in the NICU for 3 months. So I was nervous and scared, and there were so many things. I was disappointed. There were so many things that were going on in me, and I needed an outlet where I could share all of this because I'm not very good at opening up verbally to friends and family. So I started blogging anonymously at the beginning, and my daughter's name was Catherine Bigwarfe. So I chose to blog under the name Kat Biggie as kind of like a play on her name, obviously. And I just started putting it all out there, awareness about the syndrome that they had, life with of losing one daughter and having the other in the NICU, all of these different things, grief, loss, all of that. And eventually I started to see that people were responding to that, and it was helping people. And it was about 18 months after I'd started blogging that a good friend of mine had a stillbirth at 37 weeks. And at that point in time, I was just like, I'm not doing enough. I want to be able to impart upon her, these things if she can handle them. And I got together with some other women that I'd met along the way who'd had miscarriages, stillbirths, or even deaths of older children. And we decided to put together a book called Sunshine After the Storm, a survival guide for the grieving mother. And I was the leader of that process. I figured out all the elements of it, the whole self-publishing route, got the cover, got the editor, got the lay, all of those things, put it together. And throughout that journey, I realized this was something I just really enjoyed doing, and it gave me so much satisfaction to do it. So it kind of all started from there.
Wow. What a beautiful example of taking the depth of sadness and grief and all of those emotions and turning it into a blessing. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of us have gone through whatever we've gone through in our lives, right? And I think it's a beautiful thing when you're able to take that and share it in a way that you can be a blessing to others. And so I think
Yeah.
it's beautiful what you've created.
And that continues to be my message. I mean, it's obviously a long jump from there to where we are here, but basically the abbreviated version is that we started, I realized I fell in love with the process and I wanted to do more books. So the next one was very different. I started writing on parenting because I now had 3 small children, and published some books on parenting. And it was at that point in time that people started taking notice and mentioning to other friends or asking me, how are you doing this? What are you doing? Or mentioning to their friends, hey, this is my friend Alexa. She published a book on loss. I know you want to do that as well. And so my first client was actually another woman who was writing a book for grieving parents. And she came to me and we kind of figured out the whole process. And it's been like that since then. It started out with a lot of other women who were writing on grief. And what a tremendous opportunity for me to heal by helping other moms heal. And so that's been a huge part of my message the entire time, is that, your words matter, your voice matters, your story matters, and how incredible it is when you can take something awful and make something beautiful from it. I mean, the expression making lemonade from lemons just is on repeat in my head all the time. And not everyone can do that, but for the people who can, it's an amazing experience to fulfill that.
Yeah, and to walk women through the process of sharing their story as a way to heal. Like
Exactly.
that is
Exactly.
so powerful. And like you said, you just needed an outlet. You
Right.
needed a way to get those emotions out of your body and into words. And now you've been able to do that with hundreds of clients over the years and let them
Yes.
also share their stories of grief and loss. And in the
Exactly.
process, find their way to the other side, if there is another side, or at least a way to feel seen and known and that they're not alone in their.
Exactly. And
No,
it's interesting because it doesn't have to be through trauma or through something as significant as the loss of an infant or a child either. I mean, there's so much healing that comes from even just writing. Writing fiction can be a healing journey for some people. Getting to get things out. Writing children's book is massive in helping explore how to teach children how to overcome these things. So we've had a lot of fun with different authors talking about all kinds of different topics, but it's writing and the publishing journey and getting your words. It's tremendously vulnerable, but it's tremendously satisfying as well.
yeah, that's so, it's so powerful. And I know that you've been on this journey now for several years. And I know that a few years ago, you also started really trying to create a platform for more women specifically to feel comfortable and confident in sharing their story through your conference platform, right? And
Yes.
kind of you've been kind of the connector, if you will, of all the parts and pieces. And so do you want to share a little bit about how you started that particular event and how
Yes.
that impacted not only yourself, but also women around the world that want to share their story as well?
It kind of started from me getting lots and lots of questions from different people along the way and seeing where people really needed support. And I also had a lot of people come to me that had unfortunately been scammed really tremendously, or they'd gone to somebody and they'd promised them this or that, or they'd paid them this tremendous amount of money and never gotten anything. And when I started this journey, I was a stay-at-home mom with a lot of medical debt from our hospital experience, and I was not employed. So I wanted to figure out the least expensive way as possible to get there. And I knew that a lot of the people that I was working with at the time were in similar situations, didn't have a huge budget, couldn't afford to pay a company $20,000 to do all of this stuff for them. So I was really seeking, I was really seeking to kind of be that person who was kind of like the shepherd or the guide, like a few steps ahead of people, just saying, hey, here's what I'm doing, here's what's working, here's not what's not working. Don't spend money on this, do spend money on this kind of thing. And in that process, I found out that I really, really enjoyed, like you said, being a connector, finding resources, services, other people, bringing them all together, sharing our knowledge, encouragement. I was watching a lot of other summits and I saw that on writing and publishing, and there were so few women that were represented. So I wanted a place where women's voices, marginalized voices, even more to that, could really shine and come forth, come to each other, encourage each other, support each other, provide resources, provide tools, and help people through this journey and make sure that they were getting access to what they needed to be successful.
I love it. And how many years now have you been doing this conference? And that,
So this is our 6th year. The first 2 years were branded differently. I was branding just kind of under anybody who wants to write a book. I think the first year was like Career Beyond Your Blog because I'd started as a blogger and was
sure.
moving into writing. And then the second year, I kind of named it generically, like the Write, Publish, Sell. That's the name of my writing company conference. And then it was after that second year that I realized I wanted to niche down into supporting women and wanted to brand under that. So this is our 4th year as the Women in Publishing Summit.
Oh, that's so beautiful. And that's going to be coming up soon,
In
right?
March, yes.
In March. Okay. And so who would be the like ideal woman to be part of this? Like what, kind of give us some ideas of as far as like, if in a perfect world you could wave a magic wand and these would be the women that would be part of this event, what would that look like?
Yeah, well, we've tried our best to make it as inclusive as possible for anyone in the book writing arena. It is only the men have come and enjoyed it as well, but it's only women who are going to be providing the presentations. But in terms of the specific answer, like we really, so it's broken into a 5-track kind of thing. We focus on editing and writing. We focus on mindset. We focus on the production of the book and layout and cover design, marketing, and the business of being an author. So the reason this is, I thought, kind of smart in the way of doing it is that you can pull people in no matter where they are and meet them where they are and give them resources. So if you're brand new and trying to decide, should I write a book? What could a book do for me? It's perfect. If you've already written, we've had authors who come through and participate with us who've written 20 or 30 books and are still looking for access to new tools, new resources, new connections, new ideas, because like anything in our world, it changes rapidly. Marketing techniques change, tools available to us change. So, you may not, depending on where you are in the process, you may not gain from everything in the entire conference, but I assure you, somebody asked me, it was kind of a funny question last year when we were marketing the conference. Somebody said, I've already published a couple of books. Am I going to learn anything new? And I had to be very careful in how I responded to that because I didn't want to come off as being sarcastic, but I was like, I've done over 300 interviews now for this conference, and I learned something new in every single interview. So I assure you, you're going to learn something.
Sure. Well, I think it's always the willingness too to learn, being open-minded, right?
Amen.
I'm
Yes.
always a student, like no matter what,
Yes.
where I am,
Yes.
whatever room I'm in, I always feel like there are some gems and some new learnings that you can take.
Yes.
So, okay, so I love that. So for any of you listening that have a big dream to get your message and your book out into the world, this is definitely something that you're going to want to check out. Hello, I have this puppy that
Loves his mama.
Hello. And so again, the dates of your event, darling, are the first,
It
second.
starts of March 1st is when everything officially kicks off. Actually, the Sunday before that, we'll have our first big kickoff event. But I do want to say, as we talked about at the beginning, this idea of writing to heal and how powerful writing can be as a tool to help you through. If that is something that people are in particularly looking for, we do have a couple of sessions dedicated specifically to that this year.
Beautiful. Well, I just want to say how what a blessing your work is in the world. And I'm just so thankful that you were willing to share your story and be vulnerable and allow yourself to be seen and loved, right? Because that's really what you're also creating, is the opportunity for more women to allow themselves to feel that way as well.
Yes.
Feel connected and to feel that they're not alone. It's also a huge blessing to have you part of our Soul Centered CEO collective, because you are such the embodiment of that. Like, you are really every day showing up in service, and you've created a way for your entire life to be that. If you happen to make money doing it, which is lovely, but really it is a passion and is a mission that you have. And I think it's so beautiful the way you've been able to create your soul-centered business and life. And that's really, really lovely. So I'm so excited to be on this journey with you this year. I hope that any of you that are listening will definitely check out the conference that Alexa is putting together in March. We'll have all the links available with the details that you can get registered or get more information and just see if it's a good fit for you. So is there anything else, Alexa, that you would like to share with the listeners around taking that first step, or any parting wisdom before we close out our conversation today?
Yeah, I want to say that I wrote a book on this topic called Ditch the Fear and Just Write It, because so many entrepreneurs in general, like, they're so busy with so many other things, and you get so stuck in your mindset around, oh my gosh, the finished product. And I would say, just start, if you want to write about trauma or grief or loss or healing, or if you just want to write about teaching someone how to do the skills that to help them. It starts with just sitting down and starting with right where you are. And so don't think about all the big craziness that comes at the end. Just think about, what is the message that I hope to share with the world? And what are the most important things that I want to tell people? And write that down and then start writing from there. And it's not so overwhelming if you do it that way. But I hope you'll consider coming to the Women in Publishing Summit. It's a great event for talking about things, especially as women, that we deal with differently in life. If we're having taking care of parents, or taking care of children, or taking care of a spouse, or whatever it is, like, we generally have more going on in our lives, and that's always a fun part of the conversation too. But yes, just don't be scared of the end product. If you have a message you want to share, somebody needs it. Somebody may need it desperately.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful and so true. And we can't be afraid. We are
No.
we are the messengers of divine inspiration. And I do hope that you'll continue this path and this teaching. And I'm inspired now to finish my book that needs to be
Yay!
done. So
Do
one
it.
at a time, right? One at a time.
That's
Well,
right.
thank you so much for your time today,
Thank
Alexa. I
you.
appreciate it so much. And again, we'll make sure that the listeners have access to all the links and all the details. And if you all have any questions for Alexa, we'll also put her website and contact information as well, so you can reach out to her. So thank you for listening today. Thanks for tuning in, and we hope you'll join us again on the next episode of the Soul Centered CEO Show.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.